We can increase our sales just by perfecting our to-go orders. Next month, we're going to have an entire coupon system set up to try to increase our takeout service. If we can handle the takeouts, we're going to continue that process and see if we can't grow our carryout. But for now, let's pay attention and get the food right. Understand with an open mind that it's you. You're helping mess up. There are issues that you don't know about. A lot of people call and complain about their to-go food. So take a second look. Don't assume it's not you. He's not talking about me. I'm always right. You're not. We're wrong, and we need to work together to figure out what the problem is and try to fix it. I may have mentioned this before, but I want to bring it up again because it's still an issue. To-go food. We used to have a lot of to-go orders. And over time, the number of to-go orders that we have is reduced. The reason we're losing takeout customers, which ultimately affects losing sales, is because food is constantly wrong. It could be the most simple of wrongs, but the way a customer sees it, it's either right or it's wrong. There's no, well, sometimes it's in the middle, it's okay. It's not okay, it's right. It has to be 100% right. So let's talk about some ways that we can make it 100%. First and foremost, understand the 100% rule. 100%, 100% of the time. If you write an entire abbreviation, an entire order with all this stuff on it, but you change the letter of ketchup to C, and you've got a C instead of a K, and you wrote every other letter right. Every single thing is right on that ticket. Your handwriting is perfect, all the names, all the cheeses, but you mess up one letter in one abbreviation, the customer's food is wrong. All of it becomes wrong. It gets sent back and we get in trouble. Like it becomes a terrible thing because you messed one letter. It's 100%, 100% of the time. It's not high school. It's not I got a 97 on my test. It's a 100%. So the customer calls in the order or places it at the counter. You go through, you ask every question there is to ask to make sure the food is right. Then, when you've asked every question you can and they've ordered all the food they can, preferably with the name of the person that did the order. Why do I want the name of the person whose food it is? I don't mean the one name at the bottom of the ticket so they can pick it up. I mean the name of the person whose food that's going to go to when they get there. Because I'd say 20% of the mistakes we make aren't ours. They got the wrong burger out. They got Billy's burger. Susie picks up Billy's burger and says, oh no, it has onions. It's not supposed to have onions. And then Billy's like, oh my goodness, I didn't order lettuce. So now you got two people whose food you messed up. You got it all wrong. They call you up. They tell you how wrong it is because they opened the wrong food because you didn't label it because you didn't have a name, a simple name to tell them whose food it was. That's step one. Read the ticket back. So now you're double checking to make sure that you didn't forget to ask a question and that they ordered the food exactly right. It's a whole lot more difficult for them to argue about their food when you read it back to them. If you just said, oh, is that going to be it for you? Okay, bye-bye. Okay, and then they come up there and they're like, did I order that? I don't think that's what I ordered. Well, you don't say this, but if you read it back to them, it's a little bit more difficult. You don't have this problem. So read the ticket back over the phone. Take the extra minute to slowly read back what you've got. Sometimes it's important to read back the ticket the way you would say it, not the way that they said it. What I mean by that, if they ordered a cheesesteak with no onions, you don't read it back, so I've got a cheesesteak, no onions, provolone cheese. You say, I have a cheesesteak with mushrooms and peppers. Oh, whoa, I didn't want peppers. Okay, no peppers. So now we've got no onions and peppers. All they said was no onions, so now I read it again. So I've got a cheesesteak with just mushrooms. I don't want mushrooms either. Okay, so I've got a cheesesteak plain with just cheese. I've got it, and then you continue on. You give them a second because just because they said it a certain way doesn't make it right. They say, I want the all-American burger. You say, okay, would you like that with mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato, pickle? Absolutely. You're going down the list. Okay, so I've got an Andy's cheeseburger with mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato. Oh no, I didn't want tomato. Well, you don't argue and say, well, you told me you want the American burger. You just let it go and you say, okay, and then you read it again. Some of the mistakes we're making, they're ordering it wrong and we're not confirming those orders with them. So that's step 2. Step 3, check the food as it's being made. We don't have that many mistakes in the store, but I'd say 60 or 70% of our takeout orders are wrong. Are we checking the food, what bag it goes into, labeling it, confirming that the cook put it up there in order? Is there somebody there paying attention to that food to make sure it's right, that they got all of it, that everything is correct? Cooks, are you double checking and triple checking, making sure that your food is right? You can't fix a to-go order once it's gone. Bacon, side of this, side of that, you gotta double check. You have to. You gotta work together, you gotta look at the food as it comes up, line it all up before you call it out. Be careful when other people are bagging food before a ticket is finished because you haven't confirmed that it's done. So that's 3 steps. Number 1 is to check and get the names of the people so it goes to the right person. Number 2, read the ticket back to them so we know we got the order right. And number 3, check that food when it's sitting on the counter to make sure it's right. If there was a 4th step, that 4th step would be to make sure that you label the ticket with the number of bags and you put all of those bags together to make sure the customer is getting their food and getting all of their food. There's no, if it says 2 bags and there's 3 there, that's somebody else's food. That's wrong. It's all wrong for them and it's all wrong for the person whose food we don't have. If they're supposed to have 3 bags and there's only 2, they're missing something. Then they call back, I'm missing 2 fries. Then we have to deal with this whole problem. All right? I appreciate it, guys.